The jury's out on whether this works or not with the hot water killing any fungus gnat eggs, but the way I see it, the starter mix needs to be wet anyway, so I might as well use hot water and hope that it takes care of any fungus gnats, because we don't want those inside the house. Oh, look at my hair. Nice. If anybody needs hair styling recommendations, I can easily put something together for you. Whenever I see a little mass of something in my dirt, I'm like, do I touch it with my hands? Because it might be some kind of poo, and you know, I love to garden and all, but I still don't really want to stick my hands in poo. Okay. I was struggling because I don't have a ton of containers like the little like 6-pack cells and whatever. I thought I had a million of them. I might need to go into the garden shed to see if I can find any more. Anyway, so it's like maybe I can repurpose some things, because I do love to use things that are free. I'm not a big fan of paying for things. Anybody else out there? So this is what we use. This is what I found. Strawberry containers. That's, first of all, can we just talk about how many strawberries my family eats? You want to know why I start a garden? Because I can't keep fruit and vegetables on the table in my house. That's why. I'm gonna do like the winter sowing method with these guys. So these strawberry containers are great because they already have holes in them, and they have holes in the top too. Like, why wouldn't I use these? And I'm gonna use them just for flowers and a couple herbs. Last year I tried to do winter sowing. I failed miserably. I think it's because I'm such a lazy pants and I didn't feel like watering, and we didn't get a lot of rain, and they just died. So I'm not doing that this year. I'm gonna put it in these, and I'm gonna put them right by my back door so that I will remember to water them. If anything is hard for me in gardening, I'm just not gonna do it. So yeah, this is what we're gonna grow. And I decided what to grow based on whether it was perennial, and I did do a little bit of research on, I really like the almanac.com website because they have grow guides for nearly everything. Not everything, but nearly everything. And so what I looked for with that was if there was a stratification period. A stratification period is when you have to chill the seeds for a certain amount of time before you actually put them out. These are going to be winter sown because I thought they had to be stratified, but I don't know where I came up with that in my head. Okay. These benefit from a stratification. Poppies, and aren't they pretty? I'm so excited. And they're perennial, and they will hopefully have really beautiful seed pods at the end of the season, which means I can actually use them for poppy seeds. So this to me is a win-win crop. I plant it once and I'm done. It's beautiful, and I can harvest something that will become some kind of nourishment for my family. So there's that. Pansies are they're cold, right? They're like, we plant them in like February. So this guy's going outside. I don't love these colors, but I'm not paying $1 million for pansies. This was $1.99. So that's what we're gonna go with. Bachelor's button. These are so pretty. Aren't they pretty? Also known as cornflower. Yeah, so I'm excited about these. Asters. This one can be perennial in my zone. I am zone 6B/7A. Like, it just depends. We're South Central Pennsylvania. Okay, so there's that. Horehound. I'm going to use this as one of my medicinals this year. Very hardy, drought tolerant, can be used for coughs and things like that. And yeah, I'm excited about this one. I feel like this is perennial. If it says heirloom, if the seeds, okay, so if it's an heirloom seed and the seeds drop, then they are essentially self-seeding, which means they'll grow again, which means perennial. So I don't know that this is definitely not a perennial because of it's not a bulb, or it's not, what are they called? Rhizomes or whatever. But this could potentially seed itself. All right. Salvia. I grew salvia last year and it was so easy to grow from seed. I'm going to try it outside this year. Notice again, heirloom. This sucker seeds all over Tarnation. So if you have a big spot that you need to fill, this guy. Snapdragons. These are not perennial, but it says this is one that needs a lot of light for germination. So I figured that this would be a good choice to grow outside. I'm still trying to figure out why I'm growing this one outside. Calendula. I love calendula. I'm actually growing calendula inside too. These are older seeds, so I'm like, maybe I'll just put a couple of these outside and see if I can get these to germinate or not. So we'll see. What I like about calendula is I use this for medicinal stuff. I made some salve last year. I'm making tallow. I don't know if you can see. You see my silver? Silver. Oh, Rachel. My silver, my stainless steel bowl is full of tallow. If you're good, I'll take you over there and let you have a look at it. So I'm going to use that and the calendula oil that I made last year. So I deadhead these before they're dead and dry them and then soak them in olive oil for like 6 months. And wada boom, wada bang, we have calendula oil. Love it. Shasta daisies. I would like to ask the internet world. Inflation. These seeds right here, from Roarer Seeds, which I do love Roarer Seeds. They are local to me and they're just great. They have everything that I've ever wanted to plant. You can see these are 99 cents, okay? Packed for 2022. I bought these this year because I was not happy with this package, whether it's just old or I don't know, it didn't feel like germinating. So I bought this, packed for 2024, $1.99. Hello, inflation. Seed inflation. What on earth? Same weight, same everything. I'm going to put this outside too. This is perennial where I live. Woohoo! Black-eyed Susans are perennial where I live. I only have a few of these left. These grew great for me last year. And sweet peas, I did not have a great experience with sweet peas. I tried to grow them from seed inside and they got too tall. So I'm hoping if I grow them outside, I will have better luck. And it says to sow in early spring. So these guys are, so my soil should be good to go. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of my strawberry things. I'm gonna put some dirt in it. I make my own seed starting mix because in case you did not figure this out yet, I'm a cheapskate and I don't want to pay a ton of money for a seed starting mix. I use peat moss. Haters gonna hate. Players gonna, whatever the next verse is. I use peat moss. It's cheap. I'm so sorry that I'm not using coco coir. Do you forgive me? So I'm using peat moss, vermiculite, perlite. What are we gonna do first? Let's do poppies. I'm so excited about this. Okay. Poppies. My kids call my dad Poppy, which I think is so sweet. Sure enough, these look like little poppy seeds like you'd get on your bagel or your muffin. And I'm just gonna sprinkle. Now these guys, it says they need light to germinate. So what we're gonna do after we get, I'm going hardcore with these guys because they're tiny little seeds and I want a lot of them. And I'm gonna do a seedling sale again in the spring. So if I have enough, I'll pot these up and sell them at that. So I'm not even gonna I'm gonna just take little bits, oopsie, like that was too big. So I'm gonna have to go back in. And the reason we wanna use seed starting mix and not actual potting mix is because potting mix is too heavy. Even like this guy here, I don't know what he is, but he's going on the garage floor. Don't tell the husband I threw trash on the floor. I'm married to the cleanest man the Lord ever created. Don't judge the cleanliness of my garage on him, because if it's messy, it's probably my fault. So that's all I'm gonna do. And yes, I don't use gloves because I don't want to. And then I got these thingamajiggers, these labels on Amazon. They were cheap and fast, and so I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to write poppy, because my New Year's resolution is to actually know what I'm planting and quit forgetting to write it down. So I'm going to actually take this guy and I'm going to stick him down in the side. And yes, I do like to personify my plants. This is a guy. See? Poppy. And it's a little steamy in there, which, you know, the heat might actually help them a little bit. And he's got a little dirt coming out of him. All right. Next. People would stop and say hello to me, or like we saw some people walking downtown, and of course I rolled down my window and started yelling at them, and they thought that was a riot. So when we got back to the office, my new friend said to me, "Wow, people really like you." And I was like, "That's because I'm nice to them." It's not rocket science, people. Just be nice. I'm going to be a little more conservative with these guys, because I'm not going to plant these as like a clump. Like with the poppies, I could potentially just take that whole thing and just stick it in the ground as a clump. These guys I want to use as part of like flower arrangements outside. So I'm going to be a little more conservative. I would like to just put some out in a planter right now and see how those do. Like, does this method work better? Just sticking them in a planter now work? So back to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is an amazing human. I have a wonderful mother too. Like, this is the funny part, that God decided to give me an excellent mother and mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is selfless, kind, generous, all the things. We've never had an argument. Like, she's done things that maybe I didn't necessarily like, but like I could say, I don't really like that. And she'd be like, "Oh, okay." And we're done. Like that Bible verse about the love chapter, 1 Corinthians 12, 13. 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, one of those Corinthians. When they're talking about love, and it says, "Love keeps no record of wrongs." That's my mother-in-law. Woman does not hold a grudge. What you see is what you get. Yeah, let that be a lesson to all of us. If you're nice to people, they'll probably be nice back. Ooh, get a little chilly out here. Okay, what should we do next? I don't think you're probably going to answer me because you're not here. Let's do sweet peas. These are bigger seeds, I can tell. So I am going to I'm going to do a little bit of a different sowing method with this guy. Push, just lightly tamp down the dirt. I'm going to take my seeds. Oh yeah, these are big boys. And this is an old pack of seeds, so I'm going to do all of them. I probably should look to see what depth. 2 inches? No wonder I had a hard time growing these last year. I didn't read the directions. Okay, so I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to put the seed. Here, let me see if I can show you better. I'm going to take the seed, I'm going to put it on top, and then I'm not going to use that thing. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go bloop, and cover it up. Did you see that? Shoot. Let's do all of them. Oh dear. Look, they look like little cocoa balls. Make some hot chocolate. Except these are poisonous, so don't eat them. If you have animals, keep them away. I have animals, but I really hope they don't try to eat these, because then they would have seizures and that would not be good. There's those, and I'm just going to go bloop. If you have little kiddos around, you could have them do this part. 2 went down in that hole. So I'm going to cover this a little bit so that doesn't happen again. Yeah, little kiddos would love this. My little kiddos have jobs and are teenagers, so they're sometimes lazy pants and don't want to help me anymore. And the funny thing is that when they were young enough to help me, I was so busy I didn't do any of this because, well, I was too busy chasing them around. All right, so then I'm just going to take some other soil and I'm going to put it over to cover those holes. Give it a little pat. Wipe my hands on my apron. My mother-in-law gave me this apron. And she gave it to me because I'm messy and I usually forget to put on an apron. So I think that she gave me this as a reminder. Hey, dummy, wear an apron so you don't stain your clothes. Except she wouldn't ever say dummy. As a kid, I grew up in Maine, and we didn't have much of a garden. When I was really little, my mom had a little bit of a garden, but we didn't have great sun. And if you know anything about the soil in Maine, it is really rocky. Two things that grow well in Maine are broccoli, which grows up, and potatoes, which if they hit a rock, they just they go elsewhere. She grew carrots one time, and I went out there to pick them. And I honestly think that that's where my interest in gardening came from. I just loved that I could go outside and pick things, and it was food, and thought that was so cool. So thanks to my mom for that. So this is aster. These guys are a little bit different. Can you see? I'm trying to think of what they look like, what kind of seeds they look like. Marigolds. Is that what I mean? Marigolds? My friends and I would go, my mom had rhubarb. I wish she still had it because I would steal some. But we would cut down the rhubarb and we would go to our neighbor's house and just take their rhubarb. What? Yeah, anyway, and they didn't ever yell at us, but we would cut the rhubarb and we would take it home and we would dip the end in sugar and bite it. And then we dip it in sugar and bite it again. Oh, so good. I love that. I love that no matter where you are, you can grow things. And it's so rewarding. It's rewarding to be able to grow the food and then put that food on your table somehow. There's a sense of accomplishment that comes with that. I like roarers a lot. Before I make a decision about dirt, let me see what size seeds these are. And they're so reasonable. Like, you can't get better prices. And I like that they're local, so I can support them that way. I went there a couple months ago, and I also placed an order a little bit later, and it was quick. It was quick delivery. Those are pretty small seeds, so I'm gonna do because these have those holes and things in the bottom, I'm gonna do this pretty liberally too, because I think I'm gonna sell some of these. If you're local and wanna come to my plant sale, throw a comment down below and I'll make sure that I get the info to you. I usually do it first or second week of May. Our last frost date is usually around April 30th, but last year it needed to be a little after that. So usually I look to about Mother's Day. So it'll be the first or second weekend in May. I also have this silly thing called a full-time job, which is going to require me to be around on one of those Saturdays because we have commencement, which is one of my favorite times a year because I love to celebrate the accomplishments of my students. They're good folk. All right, let's do, I'm gonna split this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I have enough. I'm not gonna split any. Like I said, if I have more than I need, I'll sell them in my plant sale. So I'm going to tamp this down just a little bit, not much. Give it a little wrap. Calendula. Because these guys are funny looking. They look like some sort of prehistoric thing. Aren't they funny looking? They got like a little curl to them, like a horseshoe. You know, do you ever think about like why some seeds look a certain way and other? I mean, I know it's because that's how they grow. No kidding. I'm going to ask the Lord that when I get to heaven. How come some seeds look like horseshoes? And some seeds are so stinking small, you can't barely see them. So I'm going to ask him. Get ready, Lord. I got questions. Some of you are probably like, well, why did he create you the way he created you? Ding, ding. There's my calendula. We're using the $1.99 Shastas this year. We're going to use some inflation Shastas. Inflatable Shastas. These guys are a little bit different. They're those long, skinny, light tan ones, which are nice because you can see them when you sprinkle. So like if you get too many in an area, you can move them around. Whereas some of those other seeds are dark colored. You can't see them as easily. They are less visible. They're not fewer visible. Fewer of them are visible. You see where I'm going with this? You know, just public service announcement. Quit using the word less when you mean fewer. The world will be a happier place. I'm liking these little tag things and my CD marker, and it's definitely was not made in the United States. Sorry, I really do try to buy things from the United States, but sometimes I don't remember to look. Okay, get yourself out of the no judgment zone. Come back to real life. Shasta Daisy. Rachel, focus. I used to have a choir that was comprised of folks with memory loss and their care partners, and it was a true joy. Oh, there goes the light. Did you see it? It's darkness. Anyway, I loved it very much. And then COVID came, and we couldn't meet anymore. But anyway, when we did meet, they were so funny because I would forget things all the time. And they would say, "Don't worry, Rachel, we're saving you a seat." It's not super funny. I'm not laughing at memory loss. But let me tell you, my mother's mother had Alzheimer's. My husband's grandmother had dementia. And my mom worked in a memory care unit at a nursing home when I was a kid. So I've been around folks with memory loss a lot. And what I've learned is that if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So that's why we sometimes make jokes. Doesn't mean that we're unsensing or unkind. It just means that it really hurts when you have someone struggling like that. And so let's try to make the best of it. A little laugh. Never hurt anybody. Okay. I am officially filthy. Do you ever see those gardeners? They'll be outside all day and they come back in and their hair's lovely and the makeup and there's not a speck of dirt on them. Not me. Because as soon as I look outside, I get dirty. Bachelor's button. Apostrophe S because it's possessive. Well, I said that if you were well behaved, I would take you to see my tallow. And you've all been so attentive. Good job. I'm going to let it get hard, which, you can still oh, Rachel, my word, I can't be trusted. Oh, son of a gun. Oh, failure. Why am I such a bonehead? Why am I such a bonehead? Anyway, there's some spots that are a little darker, which I'm pretty sure means that it's not all the way hardened. See all those? My husband got me those for free. That's why I love him. Because he knows I love home stretch. I made this a little bit more streamlined so we don't start going down the rabbit trail, which is mine. So I got all my pots ready. I'm just using these for my indoor ones too because I don't have any more itty bitties. All right, here we have echinacea. So a couple things quick. The reason we use seed starting mix, besides the fact that it's lighter, is because we don't really need any nutrients for these plants yet. The nutrients are in their seed shell. Seed shell? The shell of the seed? Is that? So we don't need fertilizer yet. Some people put like worm castings and what have you. I don't, because I don't want to spend money on these until I know they're going to live. Is that terrible? My word. I said that out loud for the whole world to hear because, you know, the whole world watches these YouTube videos. P.S. If you haven't already, please do all the things like, subscribe, share. Oh, wait, no, that was chamomile. Oh, a BT dubs on the chamomile. This is German chamomile. And I was doing some research this morning, getting ready to do my planting. I have a bunch of chamomile growing outside, like keeps coming back. Chamomile, like, so I was doing my research this morning and this is, like I said, well, not this because I changed, but I bought some German chamomile seeds. What I found was, again, on my almanac.com website that I love, it has growing guides for almost everything. It said that, focus, Rachel, focus. they said that Roman chamomile is perennial and that German chamomile is an annual. So I thought to myself, maybe I planted Roman chamomile last year. That stuff is coming back like craziness. So I thought to myself, maybe I planted Roman instead of German. The other reason I think I may have, ooh, those are small, coleus. Another reason I think I may have planted Roman instead of German is because I planted chamomile because I love chamomile tea. So I harvested my chamomile, and if you've ever harvested chamomile, like it takes some time. It's a labor of love. Dried it in my dehydrator, put it in the dehydrator. I'm planting a lot of this. I like coleus a lot. And it was nasty, this chamomile. I was so mad. I'm like, what did I do? So then I'm like, well, maybe it's just because maybe the dehydrator, maybe that's not the method. So I picked some more and I just hung it to dry. Still nasty. Well, then I'm looking this morning on that website and it says that German chamomile is the one for tea drinking, not Roman. So 1 + 1 = 2. Gross taste and perennial equals Roman chamomile. So this year I'm growing German chamomile. Cilantro. Some people like crack these. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let me tell you about cilantro. This stuff goes to seed real fast. Cilantro pods are coriander, which is a spice. I almost said a herb, but it's a spice. Cilantro is an herb. Oh, sorry about the finger usage there. Cilantro is an herb. Coriander is a spice, okay? So this is coriander right now, and I'm planting this. And cilantro goes to seed very quickly, much to some people's surprise, and maybe and my own included, because I didn't know this early on. Cilantro likes cool weather. This is another question I'm going to ask the Lord when I meet him. Why do we use cilantro for salsa? Because salsa uses peppers, warm crop. Tomatoes, warm crop. Onions, I mean, they could go either way, right? And then cilantro, cold. So because by the time the tomatoes and the peppers are ready, the cilantro's already gone to seed. It's gone bye-bye. So last year, I harvested that cilantro because I was like, I'm not buying cilantro for my salsa, and I make a lot of salsa. I took my cilantro, I cut it off, the whole shebangy, and I froze it. And I did not have to buy cilantro all summer. Thank you very much. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. But why is cilantro a cold weather crop when we use it for warm weather in combination with warm weather thingies? These are my questions for the universe. But the long story short is that I did save seed for my cilantro last year, and I call it coriander. So I saved it and I use it in my cooking, and it's delightful. Okay, this yarrow best grow, because anytime you get something inside a seed pack and it's in this, it means, yeah, you just paid $1 million for like 4 seeds. It says 50 milligrams. They're using those European measurements to confuse me. I don't even think it's a European measurement. Oh, that's a lot of seeds. No, there's a lot of seeds in there. Good job, botanical interests. Good job. Good on ya. Yarrow is a perennial, so I don't have to go crazy with planting this, but I do want to have some to sell. I personally don't need a lot of this because it's going to grow back. And usually things that are perennial, not only do they grow back, but they grow back with a fervor. We're just going to do a light dusting of soil. Impatiens, which is not a cut flower. Impatiens are just like for borders and pots and things like that. My other goal, in addition to saving as much seed as possible, my other goal is to not buy any flowers or seedlings. What's your vote on that? Do you think Rachel's going to be able to resist going to the garden center and buy things. This is what I always say, well, I'm just supporting small business. This is petunias. So even though I am supporting local business with purchases of seeds, I am also supporting small business because the seeds that they have there. Another one, like I really like to watch James Prigioni on YouTube. His videos are very instructive and educational. So if you have not found him, then you should. He always talks about this costata romanesco zucchini. So I'm like, I really want to try this zucchini. They had it at Roar Seeds. You hear my dogs losing their minds? Good gracious. So I have made myself quite the little mess here. I think I'm going to close things off. And I got all my peppers done yesterday. Those are downstairs. I'll throw in a picture of what those look like. I got to get those on a heat mat. I got some microgreens growing downstairs. I got my sweet potato slips started from sweet potatoes that I grew last year. So that's fun. And yeah, all my cold weather brassica type stuff is indoors and doing great. So I'm excited. Here we are. Gardening season has begun. This is where I'll be spending my Saturdays.